Hello and welcome to the SE25 cast. Today we run the rule of a Palace's 2-1 defeat by Liverpool, lose one of our podcasters halfway through due to technical issues, and the trial of Christian Benteke hits full swing. I'm Nick, your host on today's episode of the SE25 cast. With me today are a newbie, an old man, a Northern Irishman, and a drunken lout. Only the very best for this prestigious podcast. Please, newbie, introduce yourself. Jake?
Hi, Jake, 22-year-old student living in Guildford, final year maths degree in Palace season ticket holder. I think this is 7th year, maybe?
Fair enough. Let's go from young to old. Let's introduce yourself, DSOTC.
Thank you for spelling it correctly. Yeah, I'm D-Stock podcast saviour, and I'm cheerful.
All right, Jamibi, introduce yourself.
All right, guys, I'm Jamabi. You've got a bit of a depressing, sad Jamabi this week, I'm afraid, but I'm going to try my hardest not to make it too miserable. So we'll see how it goes.
Speaking of miserable, Neocast, introduce yourself.
Well, I seem to be taking the role of the drunken lout as well as the Irishman this week, considering I seem to be the only one drinking for once. But yeah, this is going to be a depressing pod by all standards, really.
Lovely. It's just like a little Palace-obsessed Alcoholics Anonymous. Right, so first things first. Crystal Palace 2-1 home loss to Liverpool. Milivojevic put us ahead with another great penalty. We failed to capitalise on the advantage and conceded first to Sadio Mane, and then to
Where
Mo
have we
Salah.
heard this one before?
And then Mo Salah, of course, 6 minutes from time. Let's have your thoughts on the match, Jimmy.
Well, it started well. As soon as we got that penalty, I was like, you just know he's going to score it. I was pretty confident on that one. I know we're going to go deeper into it, but Mane, God, we'll get to it, I'm sure. I've got a little bit waiting for that bit. I thought it was just the same old against the top teams, like we've done against Tottenham and United. It's boring and annoying, but what can you do?
Yeah, what can you do indeed? How about you, Drake? What's your thoughts?
I thought we looked well at times. It was similar to the United game for me. It really was the hope that got you. You sort of turn up thinking this is a Liverpool side that put 5 past Watford. They're very great on their day. And I didn't really feel like they turned up. So it went from a lot of hope to just utter disappointment when we went from, again, 3 points to 1 point to no points. Bit of a roller coaster, really.
Yeah, how about you, DSOTC? Got any kind of hope to give us?
So, for me, after the sleeping on it and the anger and the disappointment dissipated, we weren't expecting to get anything out of the game. The result is what we'd have put down at the start of the season. We'd have put a 0 for expected points against this, and that's what happened. It's disappointing. It's sad. It's not unexpected.
It's true. How about you, Neocast? Anything else to add?
I have to agree with Jake in the fact that we looked good in spells. Typically spells just after we had conceded, which is not the way you tend to do it, in my opinion. But I'm not the Palace coach. But it was a good game at times, and it just looked like typical old Palace. But we did show fight after we conceded the goals. We did look up for it, and I think on our day, we could have gone on to win it, especially considering a certain decision, which we will, like Jimmy B said, get on to later, had gone our way.
All right. How about your man of the match then for us? Because despite losing, we had a couple of standouts. How about you, Jimmy B?
I'm not being biased, but I'm going to say PVA on this one. I thought Patrick had a really good game, and I know I might as well just get this out of the way. I had a little screen before we started recording the podcast about PVA and Zaha's link up. I thought Zaha he just fell off a bit. Like, it doesn't seem match fit at all, but PVA was still doing his little runs around and stuff and trying to set up Zaha, but it just wasn't working because Zaha just seemed uninterested in it. But can't really blame Patrick for that. But I don't know. I thought Jimmy Mack had a good game as well, to be honest. He was just sort of all round everywhere. But
I would actually like to say something about J-Mac, but it can come to it later. Finish what you're saying.
that was it, really. Just good, just announcing I thought he had a good game as well, to be fair. So yeah, go ahead and say what you want to say about him.
One thing I noticed about him is I think he was Salah's specific man marker, because there were times where he was even behind the defensive line just marking Salah. I think he was the man put at task to stop Salah. Unfortunately, obviously, Salah scored, but the thing is if you've seen Salah this season, better players have failed in that task. I think he did that task admirably for as long as he could, considering we know Maka suffers from fatigue late on in matches.
Was he your man of the match then?
No.
Fantastic. Who was?
For one mistake of him allowing Salah past, I think I can't give it to him. Man of the match for me, it's surprisingly not Luka, considering how much I have a affinity for him. But I think it again has to go for Wan-Bissaka. Because again, it's another top 6 team and the best attack in the league for me. And he performed admirably. Like, Liverpool had a youth prospect playing right back for them, and Zaha ripped him to shreds, winning the penalty from him, especially early on. We had no issues with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, bar one time when he did turn his back on the ball, but I will chalk that down to him not being experienced enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was our best player as well. He's just coming along so nicely nowadays. He's really looking good. Man of the match, Jake, who was yours?
Actually, going to go with Milivojevic, I think. Won the ball back so many times, did really well. I don't think made any silly passes, any massive errors that I can remember. Penalty was fantastic. Milivojevic.
Yeah, it's becoming hard to kind of ever criticize anything Luka does wrong at the moment. He doesn't ever make mistakes, it seems. He's just so reliable. But there you are. So we've got a nice little smattering. I think Wan-Bissaka was probably the outstanding choice there. Right, so since DSOTC has had to run away because his mic is broken, let's give Jamabi a chance to do his rant about Sadio Mane. Go ahead.
All right, been waiting for this. I'm not gonna go too mad.
I've been waiting as well.
But it's so annoying. It's like my dad was watching it from home, and I got a little WhatsApp message after he should have been off of that stupid challenge and the handball straight after as well. I was so annoyed, and it's just so bloody obvious that he would be the one to score there first as well. It just the way that everything went. I thought that dive was horrific. It's hard to see sometimes with the game, and you just think, God, was that a dive? Was there contact? And then I went on literally the soccer Reddit on the match thread straight away, and even the Liverpool fans were like, "That was disgusting. What is he doing? What is he doing?" And then just today, I was on some of the news things, and Liverpool fans are saying it should have been a penalty and stuff. So it seems like some people still think it should have been a penalty. To be fair, I didn't watch it back again, but I just thought it's typical of the ref not to give that second yellow card, and he's 100,000,000% should have been off, and I don't know how they get away with it, but I guess that's just how it is against the big teams. Yeah, I mean, I know we got the penalty and stuff. That was even that you could say that maybe the keeper should have been off altogether for that as well, because I thought that was a horrific challenge as well.
Rule state he can't be off. If he tries to, if he attempts to play the ball, the maximum he can receive as a keeper is a yellow. The rules changed a couple of years back. He literally could not have been sent off. The ref played that perfectly. It was a yellow.
Oh, well, Mane definitely should have been off, but I'll let you erupt if you want, Neocast.
Weirdly, I'm going to play devil's advocate for both offences that Mane could have been booked for. First was the dive. MacArthur did actually touch his front leg. Was there enough contact for him to go down? Not really. But if he had gone down when contact was made, you could easily see a penalty given for that. However, falling to the ground a second after the contact has been made, definite dive. I think it's a case of it's one of those times where it could have been a penalty and it was a dive. So it was both simultaneously, because Maka never should have slid in there. And he did make contact. However, Mane did himself no favours by falling to the ground a second late. For the Mane second offence, where he picked up the ball after believing he should have won a free kick. I did actually see the shout for the free kick, and I think they could have actually had a free kick. I think the ref just bottled it by giving it to us, realizing Mane's on a yellow and going, oh fuck, if that's a free kick for Palace, for him handballing, I have to send him off. Otherwise, I have to prove that I was wrong and give the free kick for Liverpool. And I think he didn't want to do that. So I think it's a case of, in the second point, the blame lies solely with the ref for bottling it. And I hate the word bottling. I've used it twice.
Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't a good dive. There was contact, but football's a contact sport, and at the end of the day, if you're going to get clipped, take half a second to kind of think about it and then go down like that.
It's not
really
acceptable.
You shouldn't be getting a penalty for it. But how about you, Jake? Maybe you're the lone voice, a closet Liverpool fan who's decided.
Well, if he is, he won't be here long.
Yeah, no chance. The dive was horrific. I mean, it was there was contact sport. I like that, but he just waits and then he jumps. I don't know what he's thinking. He just, as you say, if he goes down straight away, maybe you can defend it and you can say, oh, it was enough contact to take him down. You know, it wasn't because he stayed up. He then threw himself to the ground. Disgusting. And again, I think with the second yellow, it was just a case of he wasn't sure if he should have given Palace the free kick if Mane was fouled. And then I guess he tried to even it up by saying, I'm not sure if it was a Palace free kick, so I won't give the yellow. But even still, if you've made your decision, which is to give us a free kick, then Mane has deliberately handballed it. And also, I watched on the replay, Kabay was coming in, and that was very much a goal-scoring opportunity. So the handball was just terrible, really. He's got to go for me. It's one of these situations where I feel like when you're at the bottom, you feel like nothing's going for you. And when you're at the top, like big clubs seem to get decisions. And it's just one of those things that just never felt like it was going to go right for us.
One thing I will say is the free kick that was taken, it was taken by Van Aanholt. What a free kick!
Quality free kick. Unreal.
It forced Karius into an absolutely amazing save. I think that's the best free kick I've seen from a Palace player in a while. And it's the one that's forced the keeper to make... you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's the one that's forced the keeper in a couple seasons to make the best save, I think.
I think you're right. I can't think of a better free kick than that since maybe Jedinak. That one against...
And again, it's against Liverpool.
Yeah, of
course imagine that had flown in.
Paddy Van Aanholt.
The rafters would have been blown off. Yeah, it just shows that he's continued his good form, which I think we will get on to Player of the Month later. But wow, it was a pinpoint free kick.
Right, so Player of the Month later. But before that, let's talk about the giant Belgian striker in the room. Right, our erstwhile goal scorer, Christian Benteke. I'll let you start off, Nearcast, and then we'll cycle round before I get a chance to present the evidence for the prosecution. So go ahead.
The war we've had on Discord due to that man. I will agree with some people saying that the first chance he should have scored. The second one was hard for him because Townsend had fallen over and couldn't really play a good pass. He did the best of a bad situation, probably still should have scored, but we all know he has absolutely zero confidence. If it's possible to have negative confidence, Benteke has that. But it's a case of he did well. He provided the assist for the penalty win. He had a couple really good flick-ons early on. He was chasing down balls at the very start of the match. His first half, I can't really fault him on. The second half, however, was more of this season's Benteke. It was almost, but not quite, I think is the best way of describing Benteke this season. He is almost perfect. He just misses that final touch. And he has done all season. He's just missed it all, which has spawned a very good post on the subreddit, which I think should be shouted out, to do with a children's book. Nick can go into detail about that.
Wait, what? Can I? Wait, there was a post?
Oh yeah, have you not seen it?
I have not. I have not. Oh, yes, I have. I know exactly what you're talking about. This beautiful. I would read it. Probably not to my children, because that sounds like a horror
Torture.
story. Yeah, Mr. Sitter by Roger Hargreaves, with a big picture of Benteke on the front.
Posted by a mod of the subreddit. Stolen,
No
of
less.
course. Stolen off Twitter.
Yeah, but not stolen off you, so it doesn't matter.
He did actually post the right name. I will get it. At Kabai Loves Hugs on Twitter.
Yes, well done for that wonderful shitpost. So, how about you, Jake? Are you team fuck Benteke or team wrong?
So I sort of assumed that everything was going to be negative towards Benteke. So actually, the only things I have noted are positives, because I thought I'd try and keep it positive. I thought, again, there were a few defensive headers that were good. We looked awful from corners. I don't know if we're going to come onto that, but we all over the shop. There was, I think was it the Van Dijk chance in the first half that should have gone in that Mane flicked out. We're just terrible from corners, and I think we could have conceded if not for Benteke. But that's not his job. He's got to stick the ball in the net. He did do really well. I think start the second half, maybe around the 50th minute, we were absorbing a lot of pressure. Really couldn't get out, couldn't put two passes together. I think he might have took it down with his foot or on his chest, put it through someone's legs in midfield, and then maybe knocked it onto Zaha or Andros. And that was good. He's got to score. He's got to score. Oh, sorry. One more thing. The only other sympathy I do have for him is I feel like Van Dijk really did him over in the first half. There are a couple of fouls that just weren't, and the ref was just in on him. And after that yellow card, any idea of a press in his head was just gone. He didn't feel like he could press. Not that he normally does anyway, but he just wouldn't even go for a tackle. Yeah,
I'll give you that. The ref was very, very reluctant to be giving out reds, especially, but cards in general. You're looking at some of the fouls and the kind of skullduggery Liverpool and a couple of our players were going at, and the ref was kind of overlooking it. It's strange, and well, sometimes you just get these games, I guess. But how about you, Gemma B? What do you think of Big Ben?
I thought he was terrible. I'm usually not really on his side, but I'm kind of neutral. But I thought he was absolutely crazy bad. But I reckon he should have been off as well. Actually, I know we were sort of just discussing that, but there's a time he should have got that second yellow, but the ref sort of bottled it, and that's why you can't be too mad at him bottling Mane's one. Can't remember, because he got the yellow card and then he done something stupid. You just think, what are you doing? Like, I got a brilliant comment from my dad. Benteke, what did he say? As soon as the both misses, just get a text, Benteke, you shit bastard. So he sort of summed up exactly what my family was thinking of him. But yeah, I don't really know what's wrong with him. That first one where he had, I remember lining it up, and I was literally picturing him celebrating, thinking, "Fucking hell, Benteke's just scored." And when it went over, I reckon that's the most F words out of me this whole season in them two efforts. I was like, it's just, yeah, it was an emotional game for me in that thing. I think the people who sit around me were like, "What has happened to him?" But it wasn't good.
One thing I do need to say about Benteke is you can see the lack of faith everyone has around him, especially Wilf. Because on the second chance, when the ball got to Benteke, people were saying after Benteke took the shot, Wilf was furious. I say Wilf was furious before the ball even got to Benteke. Wilf does not trust Benteke to take a shot. Benteke might not even trust himself, but Wilf absolutely doesn't. Wilf never puts in an early cross. He hardly ever crosses to Benteke. He will usually try and get in the box and then square it to someone, usually not Benteke. I really think Wilf and the people around Benteke do not trust him as a striker or as an outlet anymore.
Yeah, and then just that faith. No one wanted to pass to him after that. And after the second one, Riedewald was literally just head in hands, laughing. I don't know if he expected him to miss it or if he just found it comical, but you couldn't blame him. People around me were laughing because they were thinking it's just typical Benteke. We expect him to miss. It's a one-on-one, and you're just waiting for it to go over the bar.
Yeah, poor Gyro. I sympathise. You either laugh or you cry. But look, if you're a user of the Discord or subreddit, you know which side I come down on. I mean, let me get this out of the way. I like Christian Benteke. I've always liked him. I liked him since he was at Villa, who I have something of a soft spot for anyway. And at his best, he's a brilliant forward and pretty much all you could ask for in a Premier League striker. But of course, this season he's not been at his best, but he's not even been close to his best.
At full confidence, Christian Benteke at Villa, he was literally unplayable.
You can't stop him.
The only centre forward I could ever compare Benteke at full confidence at Villa to would be Didier Drogba. Obviously, he didn't reach that level or get anywhere close to that level. But he was basically him reincarnated at Villa. You could not get near him. He would shrug you off. He would score headers. He would do everything he needed to do. Liverpool broke his confidence, and then he never had the confidence to repeat Villa when he came here.
I'm aware that some of us are big stats fans, so here's a couple. Benteke's got the most missed big chances in the Premier League, according to the Premier League website. Nice round 20, apparently. Harry Kane and Mo Salah trail him, both players with over 10 times as many goals as he's got this season. He's missed more than some really, properly bad players like Joselu, the Newcastle striker. And we're pretty clearly making chances for him here. We're 9th in the league for key passes. We're even 13th for goals. We're a mid-table club in terms of offensive output, but Benteke's managing to come up with league-worst statistics for finishing those chances that we create. I mean, his defenders will say that he's getting assists, and that's true. He's now up to, I think, 5 in the league, but it's not really his primary job. We've got players who can get the ball into the box toward an attacker. You know, Cabaye, Zaha, Townsend, Loftus-Cheek when he's actually playing. It's the old Emil Heskey question, really, isn't it? Is a striker who isn't scoring still worth it if he's compensating for it in other ways?
One thing I have to say about this is we had another very low-scoring season where we all looked at our striker to score goals, and he didn't. And we know that season well, and we look at it at what it could have been.
Wait.
Obviously, the Pardew season under that, where we scored so many set pieces. Open play, we did not know how to score from open play.
Right, I was having trouble narrowing it down personally, but yeah.
Well,
going.
we were one of the worst scorers out of everyone. We only really scored from set pieces.
Scott Dan was our top scorer, wasn't he?
Yes. Wickham did fuck all, but he closed people down. It was another season where we defended a striker for the work he did bar scoring, but he never really did the striker's job off scoring.
Yeah, it's true. And I think my issue with Benteke is I don't mind strikers that do a lot of work but don't score much. Because we've had, Cameron Jerome. I like Cameron Jerome a lot. Fraser Campbell was good for us. Let's not go as far as great. And Wickham, we all love Connor Wickham here. But I don't think Benteke gives us enough to counteract how awful his finishing is. But hey, there you go. I've said my piece. That was cathartic. Right, let's look ahead to brighter things. Let's look ahead to the fixture list, which is enough to raise your spirits a bit. We currently sit 17th in the table, 2 points ahead of Southampton, who were soundly beaten by West Ham at the weekend. Next game up is Bournemouth in a week's time, ahead of the big derby game a week later. Bournemouth dramatically drew an injury time away at Watford yesterday, which takes them to 37 points and you'd think safety. So what's your prediction, Jamaby, for next week?
I got a feeling I'm not really bothered about the game. I think we're going to win quite easily. And I don't know if that's being way too confident, but I know wasn't it Benteke who scored? Was it a bit of a late one last time we played them last season? I remember, and fans were on the pitch, or a couple of fans were on the pitch. Be nice to see a repeat of that, to be honest. With Brighton, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the team on that one. That's for sure. Because if they put a shit performance in against Brighton at home, based on how bad the atmosphere got near the end of that Liverpool game, with people getting a bit stressed out on it's it's going to be bad. So yeah, well, let's hope we beat Bournemouth, and then we won't have to worry too much if we don't beat Brighton.
Now, how about you, Neocast?
See, Bournemouth's interesting for me because there's one man on that team who I despise playing against us. I
Oh,
think
this
we
should be fun.
I think we all know who it is, considering the goal he scored against us
Oh, I was going to guess.
versus Julian Speroni.
I don't know, Adam Federici or something.
No,
Is it
Defoe.
not Federici? Oh, yes.
Oh no, it's Defoe.
Yes, it is. And he, of course, scored the equaliser with a late bundled in goal against Watford.
The man is clinical, and if he plays against us, my head will be in a cushion for the entirety of the match, praying to any power above that he does not score. Because he is everything Benteke is not. Especially this season. He is clinical, he will take his chances. He may not be the fastest or have the best legs anymore, but if you get him in a position to score, he will do so ruthlessly.
I think you'd expect Bournemouth to be playing Wilson and King up front. Defoe's been their kind of super sub. Come on,
And a
Steve.
super sub he has proven to be
Yeah,
against us.
We are, of course, the stick with which all teams are measured.
Yes.
How about you, Jake?
Well, yeah, obviously, Defoe was great against us, and I think he got 2 in the dark day against Sunderland a couple of years ago at home as well. As you say, if he doesn't play, that's not an issue. I thought we were really good against him at home. It was a Benteke penalty miss, I think, that we should have won that one. And I feel like they were very lucky to get a draw. I think we can do them. Hopefully, in their relatively safe position now, they won't be too confident. Hopefully, we can take a lot from being 1 goal away from Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, United in the last 4. Hopefully, we can just take that, repeat performances, and I think we can do them. I think we've got a better side than them, really. Their defence is slow. Begovic, I think he's got mistakes in him. He gave away the penalty as well, if I remember. I think, or maybe both penalties in the home leg. I'm going to go 0-2. I reckon we'll do them 2-0.
I'm not sure about this one. Genuinely, I don't know, because I think you look across that Bournemouth team and they've got a surprising amount of quality. When they came up, you'd look at them and go, "Oh, there's a couple of standout players, but none of them are, the rest of them are not much got." But now you look at it and they're starting Ake, Cook, Josh King has really proven himself in the last year or so. Everyone knows Callum Wilson's quality. They've got Defoe to bring off the bench. Begovic is a good keeper. Harry Arter's now relegated to the bench, and he's a good player as well. So you can't really. I mean, the pace up front really scares me. Wilson and King are really, really blisteringly quick, and with the current state of our backline being, slightly
Suspect.
yeah, they're not individually bad players, and obviously Wan-Bissaka and Anholt are both quick. Sacco isn't slow. Well, he isn't pedestrian, but
Kelly.
we've got Martin Kelly. And I'm never going to be confident with Martin Kelly in our back line.
Sorry, just I feel we've dealt with pace quite well this season, to be honest. We weren't split open by pace against Liverpool. We did well against City. I don't see it being too much of an issue. If Sacco can just bully their strikers and Wan-Bissaka and Van Aanholt can take the other one. It is a big if, but...
Oh no, it's not a big if. Sacco will bully them.
And something that'll help us is that we'll probably naturally sit a little bit deeper anyway, because we're going to be away. And that, restricts space, means they can't get in behind anywhere near as easily. So, I don't know. It could be a tricky one for us. But equally, I think we've got enough in there to take at least a draw, I think. I think a draw I'd be all right with, really.
I think it's going to be a 2-2 similar to the Watford game. I think we'll concede too early on, then fight back and grasp a late draw. I can see us being open at the start and then playing it playing back into the game as we have done over the course prior this season.
Yeah, I can see something like that happening. Right. So, speaking of kind of relegation battles, we did a little bit of relegation guesswork a few weeks ago, but we've got 6 games left now. So, who's willing to take a stab at the teams going down now that the picture's a bit clearer? What do you reckon, Neocas?
I think it'll be shock. I think it'll be West Brom first at bottom. I don't think they have enough in them to stay up.
Hot takes on the SE25 cast.
Oh, I'm going for those wild card picks. Next, I think it'll be Stoke, specifically because the dressing room has to be fucked right now, especially with what Shaqiri came out with.
Oh yeah, if anyone
Basically saying, "Oh, I'm above the club. Oh la 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 la, fuck all yous."
yeah, in a few more words than that.
In a few more words, and probably less colourful language, and probably deeper. But I don't think they'll have A, the quality to stay up. I think Shaqiri's right. B, I don't think the good players on their team, like Shaqiri, can be arsed anymore. Specifically with those comments that have come out recently. That last spot is the tricky one. As much as I currently believe the Saints are in real danger, obviously. They're currently down there. They need as many points. They also play 4 of the top 6 in their next game, in their last 6 games. However, I do think they have fight in them. I think they might be able to get out, and they're the ones I'm worried about. Because obviously Stoke have a shite goal difference. It's 2 times worse than us, I think, at this point. So we don't have to...
Yeah, minus 30.
It's minus 32. We're like minus 18.
Minus 19, yeah.
One off. But yeah, we don't need to worry about goal difference with them. We just need to stay ahead or equal on points with them. Saints are the worry, but they have the tough fixture list. So we should be able to remain ahead of them. We just need to make sure, obviously, to win our games and not lose to the Saints. That would be a very, very big issue. So I think if we beat the Saints in that game, we could very easily relegate them. That will be probably the biggest game in our season in these last 6 games.
And theirs, you'd imagine, because you're right.
And theirs, yes.
Their run-in is brutal. They've got Arsenal away, Chelsea at home, Leicester away, Chelsea away, Bournemouth at home, Everton away, and Man City at home, which is that's grim reading for any Southampton fans who might be listening. Hi, hope you guys go down.
Nothing personal against Saints fans. We just don't want to be relegated.
Yeah, basically. How about you, Jake? What do you reckon?
Well, West Brom is the obvious one. I don't know if you saw the stat earlier, but they've stolen more taxis under Pardew than they've won games, which was just fantastic.
That's really cruel.
Yes, I think. Well, I'm hoping West Brom are done by the time we get to play them, because then we should beat them anyway. But hopefully that will just give us one bit more. I think Huddersfield are in real danger. Talk about tough run-ins. They've got a very tough run-in. I know they've got Arsenal at home on the last game of the season, and I think they've got to go away to City and maybe play Chelsea as well. Only 1 point above us. I think if they beat us or even a draw against us, they probably wouldn't be able to go below us. But I think now they're in real danger of slipping. Stoke and Southampton, I think I also read earlier that Stoke have won the least points from losing positions in the Prem this season. Like they haven't, I think they've won 2 points maybe from losing positions. And I mean, that's something that you really do need to dig deep and have that fight when you're at the bottom. And I think that's something that we do have. We can sometimes, when we're losing, come back and still have a go at a game. I'd love to see West Ham or Brighton go down, but I think there's too many teams that have got to go above them. So
that West Ham win versus the Saints probably saved West Ham, to be honest.
That was huge. I mean, not just in a not just in a kind of point sense, but also
But in a goal difference sense as well.
and their morale. I mean, that's going to do. I think that's equaled their biggest ever win at the London Stadium.
Yep, as
It's going to do a lot for them, and they ripped them apart as well.
It wasn't even close. They just completely outplayed them.
Swansea aren't safe yet. I think that's another thing to note. Obviously, they've been fantastic under new management in the last, since just after Christmas, I guess. But they're not safe yet. They haven't got the easiest run in, but I'd say my three would be Huddersfield, Stoke, and West Brom.
I'm just going to jump in here as well. I reckon basically what you were just saying about Saints and West Ham, definitely I've got a West Ham fan in my office, and I literally said, if you beat Southampton, you're safe. But if you lose against Southampton, I'd be very, 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 very worried. I'm going to go with everyone else with West Brom and Stoke. But I'm going to pop a few eyes out ahead, and I'm going to say, if Brighton do not beat Huddersfield, I reckon they're in extreme danger of going down. Because looking at their...
He's a Palace fan.
looking at their fixtures, they're not going to have an easy game against us. That's for sure. Even if they win, it's not going to be easy. And then they've got Tottenham, Burnley, United, and Liverpool. And United and Liverpool are obviously up there as well. It's going to be a hard one for them. I think West Ham are definitely safe. Swansea, I don't know if they're going to do what we done last season, where we were both like Swansea and Palace stayed up and we cheered each other on, whatever. Huddersfield, I know I said it on the last pod, going up there and all the fans were so nice and stuff. I'd hate to see them go down, but obviously if it's us or them, see you later, Huddersfield sort of thing. That third place, the third one going down, I'm still very unsure. I can't see Southampton going down, even though I'd love them to go down as well. But Brighton, it'd be too good for them to go down. So I'm going to have to... I'll just leave it as it is. West Brom, Stoke and Southampton, and we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I reckon, for my part, West Brom, Stoke, and Huddersfield. I think our fixture list is looking really kind now. Bournemouth, Brighton, Watford, Leicester, Stoke, West Brom. These are teams that we can and should be beating.
No one's going for Saints but me. Oh.
I went for Saints in a previous pod, so I'm hedging my bets that way. You know. Right. Yes. So, any last thoughts from anyone about anything?
Yeah, there's one thing actually. I know we was it the Tottenham game with the foul throws. It's still an issue, and it was terrible in the Liverpool game as well. There was people around me seemed I didn't really ever even clock a foul throws. It didn't even come into my head. But seeing what people are saying around me and like, it's a foul throw. He's on the pitch. His legs over the line. His foot's over the line. You're just like, it is a foul throw. And I think the linesman and the ref got 2 that game, but it was terrible.
Liverpool were called up against it. I remember that clearly, actually.
Yeah, it was some of the throws they were doing were absolutely outrageous. And you think, if you're calling a foul throw, you've got to call all the foul throws. Otherwise, it's just stupid and pointless calling a couple of them. I know in the Tottenham game, in the pod, we had a laugh about it as well. And that game was hilarious, just seeing him get so wound up about it. But there's something that needs to be done from like the FA point of view. If they're going to start calling the foul throws, just make sure they call all of them, and they would soon stop doing it, because it is just annoying.
That's actually reminded me. Under Roy, I've noticed our throw-ins have been a lot better, because we used to complain about them for ages under Sam, Pardew, and for a while back, that whenever we had a throw-in, we might as well have given away possession. Under Roy, I can't actually recall a throw-in that didn't go to our player and we didn't actually make use of it. Of course, under Pardew, he did have Wickham trying to throw it into the box. You know, having our striker take a throw-in and not be in the box, because that's obviously the best plan, a la Pardew.
Are you trying to say that we shouldn't have a 6'2" striker taking throw-ins?
Surprisingly, yes, Nick. It's the same sort of thing of having a striker taking a corner. What kind of manager would do that?
There is a weird kind of Pulis era Stoke lover in me that really desperately wants us to get a long throw merchant. I think there's something great about it. It really gets the entire crowd behind it, and I'm going to go, oh, long throw, yeah, let's go, lob it straight in there. Everyone throw themselves at it, see if we can get it in. That's
quickly put on Crouch.
That is. I'm aware it's making me sound like a 1800s English football.
Proper throw-ins.
That's what I want to see in my football. None of this trickery. I want to see.
None of this tiki-taka. Give me a man who can chuck a ball a mile.
Yeah. I want a barrel-chested fella from Rutland to throw the ball as hard as he can towards the opposition keeper. That is what I want.
And if the ball breaks his ribs, I don't care.
In fact, that's a bonus. Right. Anything else?
Yeah, Jake, where do you sit in the stadium? I know you said you got a season ticket, but whereabouts are you? Give a shout out.
Cheers. Used to be Block C with school. Now I go with Dad. So we're main stands just by sort of away managers ends. That little bit in the main stands. I think I do prefer the atmosphere. But the view from near a halfway line is good. But yeah, atmosphere in the main stands, not great.
Yeah, I did go there. I think I said it it was the Everton game where I was in there. I was getting in trouble for singing and swearing. I think my Block C of the Homesdale atmosphere is not appreciated over there, so I probably won't be over there anytime soon.
I don't blame you. Don't blame me at all.
Yeah.
I don't like sitting, but there we go.
All right, then. I think that should just about wrap it up for this week. One last thing. Congratulations to Palace ladies Gemma Bryan for a 100 goal for the club in just 3 seasons. There you go. There's your shout out.
A great achievement. I wish we could have a striker who does that for the men's team as well.
Who knows?
Yeah, can we get
her on?
Yeah.
Sub her on.
Her and Saul off up front. Love it.
Oh.
Right. Thanks to you 3 for joining me. And thanks to you, the listener, for putting up with us. And we will see you next week when we're hopefully ruminating over a nice, safe win against Bournemouth. See you then.